So, Logan, the NBA Finals get underway tomorrow. Thursday,
Really?
game
Tomorrow.
one. I know.
Are we really here right now?
It's happening. It feels like an extension of the Western Conference Finals. Not a lot of rest for the weary. Both of these teams coming off a 7-game series, but the Warriors are prohibitive favorites to win this one. They are minus 1,000 in Vegas. That means you put down $1,000, you can get $100 back if the Warriors win. You're better off putting it in the savings account. Give me one reason why you think the Cavs can make things interesting in this series.
Well, I think the injury to Andre Iguodala is a really big key in that, and more so just from the defensive end and guarding LeBron. I think that might come to haunt them. That's the only reason I can think so, of the fact that Iguodala is going to be out the first game. We don't know with this tricky injury that he has, leg contusion. So I'm wondering who they're going to put on LeBron from a consistent basis. You're going to have you have options with Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Jordan Bell might even get some time on him as he did in the Christmas game. But I'm wondering what the philosophy is going to be on that. With Kevon Looney obviously might get some time on him, but I
don't know if that's going to look good.
Yeah. But I just don't know who's going to guard him in that sense.
I think they're going to do the same thing they've kind of always done. Give him a bunch of different looks. I think you're right, though. Fourth quarter, game's tight, matchups matter. Who's that dude? I think it's Klay.
Yeah.
But it could be Draymond, could be KD.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways this series comes down to KD versus LeBron. Now, that seems like a pretty good matchup. Even if KD can get within 20%, let's just say 20% of LeBron James, this series is going to be a landslide because you look at every other person on that roster, and it is either Kevin Love's very good, so I don't want to disrespect Kevin Love here, but we don't know if he's going to play. He's going to have to play center the entire time because they cannot use him as a 4 against the Warriors. The Warriors destroyed the Cavaliers when they played Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love together, and having LeBron as like a point forward Scottie Pippen thing. Kevin Love's going to have to play center the entire time. That goes up against Draymond. I don't love that if I'm the Cavs, but let's call it a wash. Everywhere else, blowout.
I have a question for you. I'm kind of curious about the center position for the Warriors.
Yeah.
When you talk about that, do you think that they're going to go the same route as they did in the previous round with Kevon Looney and Jordan Bell just getting most of the center minutes? Or are they going to go with a bigger presence with JaVale or Zaza at that center position? What do you think? Where do you think?
I think they go smaller. I think they get super small. They could go. They have the opportunity based on matchups, based on personnel, to mix things up a little bit, right? We could see JaVale McGee in this series. We could see Zaza Pachulia.
I'm not sure. I think if you do that, I think we're seeing more JaVale than Zaza just from the
100%.
athleticism.
But I'm saying they could come in. If Tristan Thompson comes in, you can play those guys. At the same time, last year in the NBA Finals, let's not forget, we saw a lot of LeBron James playing center. It's center, right? The 5, the biggest guy on the court. He was the 5.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant played a lot of center in last year's NBA Finals. Now, obviously, they prefer Draymond, but Kevin Durant playing the 5, that's something I think we see again because you look at how the Cavs are built. They like having Tristan Thompson on the court. I wouldn't like it very much if I'm looking at this game plan, right? But that allows the Warriors to get deeper into their bench. That's something that if I'm the Cavs, I want to prevent the Warriors from doing. That's one of the advantages I have. The Warriors are tired. They have a short bench. They can't get – there's just not enough wings. You would force them to use all their wings at all times. That's an advantage. If you let them get into big men, then they're buying minutes. You're just buying them. What do you think?
I have another question. I mean, it's another question, and I'm kind of trying to get to my head. With the offense from the Warriors, we talked about how it's kind of come of age, even in this Houston series. They went from, heavy ISO to Durant in the post to that almost lost them the game in Game 6 when they started going back to that. And then they were like, oh, we have Steph Curry. Let's put the ball in his hands. A little bit in 7, too, yeah. Where do you think that they go with that? Because you talk about last year when, Kevin Durant had a really, really good series last year.
For sure.
Who gets the ball in this situation, if you had to guess?
I think that they're very fortunate in that they're going up against a team that is significantly worse on defense than the one they just played.
Yeah.
Like, the Rockets going into the season, I don't think anyone expected them to be that good defensively. But, we have to give them major props. They were stupid physical, just, hyper physical. And they switched everything, and they were smart, man. Right. They were a smarter defensive team than the Warriors, who are the smartest defensive team in the NBA until I saw what the Rockets did in the Western Conference Finals. Now you're going up against the Cavs team that was 27th in the NBA, I think, in overall defensive rating. It's gotten better, but it doesn't have a nice 1-2. They went from switching everything in the first couple games against the Celtics to just going to straight matchups. They go straight matchups, it's over. It's done. Because then you essentially have to go LeBron James, Kevin Durant, one-on-one. And then you look at everything else, as I was going at earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what the Cavs can do other than match exactly what the Rockets try to do. Switch everything, be stupid physical, and try to go 5 out. If you don't do that, you're just inviting the Warriors to rest, to take things easy, and they can stagger lineups and stuff. If you play 5 out, you play physical, you switch everything, you can get some of that disjointedness maybe that the Rockets were able to elicit. I think the key for all of it is getting Klay Thompson the ball, because you look at, Kevin Durant's doing sort of the strong ISO post-up stuff. You got Steph, who's trying to create this flow. He's trying to create not just for himself, but for everybody inside of that offense. And it was tough to get it because you had a little bit of movement or almost no movement when Durant had the ball on the post, and then you have Steph, and it's like, hey, just force movement. It just wasn't meshing, right? The answer's Klay.
Yeah.
If you run plays for Klay Thompson, you have to move, because Klay Thompson can't create on his own. He's part of the system, and it's not a knock on him. He's the best system player in the NBA. And when you have to, you have to do those side actions. You have to do those back cuts. Everything has to work. Steph has the ball. If you run options for Klay, you're going to have a lot of options for Kevin Durant, who's isolated in a way on the weak side. You're going to have movement and all the stuff that you need for Steph, and you're going to get Klay Thompson open shots. And if those 3 guys are in good positions, there's nothing that anyone can do, much less the Cavs.
I think one last question before we get out of here. We've seen LeBron. There's always a LeBron factor. We saw it against Boston, where he kind of won that series himself.
Not kinda.
Yeah, well, he won that series. We talk about the Game 6 and that Game 7 performance we saw, where he, scored about half the team's points going into the third quarter. I think. Where do you think how far will the LeBron factor get the Cavaliers in this series?
I think LeBron can score 50 points in every single game in this series, and the Warriors can still sweep. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here. I want to hear your thoughts on this, but man. The Warriors aren't going to worry about what LeBron does. Right. It's about what LeBron creates. It's about the open shots the other guys make. Like, ultimately, the other guys are going to have to beat him. And that's it. LeBron scores 50, and he'll create, he gives the opportunity to create 50, 60 more. That's 110 points. Okay? Yeah. Well, this Warriors offense seems to have found something. They're going up against a Cavs defense that I don't think can do anything to hold them under 100. Right. And so it's like, maybe pace slows down, this and that, but man, do we honestly think that the other Cavaliers can score 70 points in a game on top of LeBron's 50? This is the kind of ridiculousness we're talking about.
My thing is, and this is why, and you're probably going to be surprised, I have the Warriors going to 6. And the reason why I do is because it has nothing to do with the Cavaliers. It has more so to what the Warriors teams that we've seen all season long. Yeah. You get what I mean? I feel like the Warriors are the best team in this league, and they've proven that not so much in their wins, but in their losses, or after a big win, when they take their foot off the gas pedal, when they're content in a way. And I think that the Andre injury might mess them up for maybe one game, and just I think this par for the course. Draymond has said this. They have one game where they just lose focus and they just give it up. And I think it'll be easy in their wins, and I think that when they do lose, it's going to be because of just the fact that they just don't care.
They give up so much just by not being focused, not caring.
Yeah. And we even saw that in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals.
They did in Game 6 too here. Yeah. Game 6, it's like, let's come out here, let's focus, let's do this thing. It's like, oh, cool, we're down by 17 early. And it's just like they get away with it time and time again. Frankly, they can get away with it this entire series. I was joking with the coach before practice today, and I go, you guys could play probably one half of a good quarter and win an NBA championship. And they kind of looked at me all blank, which was an acknowledgement, because it's true. These guys, the firepower is immense. The arsenal is immense. That said, stuff changes. And the last thing the Warriors want to do in this series, and I wrote about this earlier, the last thing the Warriors want to do is drag it out, right? Yeah. Because we saw in 2016, never prolong the inevitable, because it no longer becomes inevitable.
We also saw them say that in the last round.
Against a better team.
Against a better team than the Cavs that we have right there. And they said all the right things. Yeah. What did their actions tell you?
No, you're 100% right. And I think Game 1's going to be a huge test of that, because if they come out strong, I mean, it's catch-22.
I think I might challenge that, because they also came out strong.
Yeah, they come out strong.
Series.
That's what I was saying. It's going to be a catch-22. Yeah. They come out strong and they go, we got this. Yeah. And they're going to coast the rest of the way. They lose Game 2. Here's the one thing they can't have happen. They can't let LeBron steal one at home. You can't let the Cavs steal one, because then they're going to take one. And that's 2 right there. And if you get this series to 6 games, we've seen it before. That means injuries come into play, suspensions come into play, tactics come into a significant level of play, you can't just figure your talent's going to take over. Weird stuff happens the longer a series goes, the more minutes you have to play, high-stress situations. Don't let them steal it. Make them earn it. Don't let them steal it. And the Warriors have been really good at letting people take stuff this year.
So before we get out of here, what's your prediction?
Warriors in 5.
Okay.
Only out of deference to LeBron James.
You have Warriors in 5. I have Warriors in 6. We will see you very soon. See you tomorrow. I'm Logan Murdock. This is Dieter Kurtenbach. We out.